And I do welcome you to the People's Movement, our platform, to this forum where we have very critical, very important discussions regarding matters of national interest. In this case, it's about our elections that are upon us. And so with that in mind, please, as you join, indicate to me whether you hear me clearly and you see me clearly so that we can have more of an informative discussion this morning about the constitutional corruption, I call it, and we deem it to be, at the Guyana Elections Commission. I'm joined by our brother, Jinnah. Put him on stage right now. Who is here with me for us to discuss this matter? Are you hearing me clearly on Facebook and on YouTube? Because we need to have a very, very serious discussion on the fight to have the rights of Guyanese respected. The Guyana Elections Commission is one of the, in my view, and the Jinnah share his, it's one of the most destructive entities in our entire electoral processes. Because this body has within it 3 commissioners from the PPP, from one single party. There are 6 commissioners at the Guyana Elections Commission, and 50% is from one single party, the PPP. The PPP. The other 3, the other 50% is from APNO FC, essentially PNC. Now, when you have that structure, what do you expect to be the reality of Guyanese people? So this thing is loud and it's clear. I have some images to show you all, and Brother Jen and I will speak to that. So I want to begin this broadcast with an image. Now, I'll tell you what I did. I went to, and please share this as widely as you can so we can have this out there. We are launching, and this is where we use social media to our advantage. We're launching our protests here because it goes further and wider than anywhere else. You cannot leave your job this morning to go out there to protest in front of GECOM because somebody's going to fire you or count how many people are so scared. So we do this differently. We use this platform to get our voices out and to have an official protest with people. So sometimes just sharing the broadcast is an act of protest on your part. That's what I'm speaking to. You don't even have to comment. If you share this and you spread it widely, then the message is heard. It's an atrocity if you ask me. And many have agreed. And there were suggestions made, recommendations made that the structure of GECOM should change. Now, this caring, wonderful, decent bunch, as they want to be called, the PPP, refused to do anything to change that which happens at the Guyana Elections Commission. In 2020, March, since the madness started, I said 5 years ago that they must be biometrics. I don't know those who are now saying and demanding biometrics. They didn't join me then. Since then, I said that they should be biometrics so that we can have propriety in our electoral processes. There was too much happening, and as the easiest way to solve many of the problems with GECOM is just to head down the path of biometrics. So whether the voters list has 50 million people in names, you don't care. Biometrics will guarantee that one person will vote, and only one person can vote. That wasn't done because the People's Pathetic Party can only win in this day and age through intense rigging. No other way. You think they say Barnum was bad? He'll be an angel compared to what these creatures are putting before you. So, Jenna, you're here. Welcome. I want to show the viewers something before we embark on this discussion. So, what I did, and I'll just solo this and take the camera off for a minute. There's a lag in my broadcast for some reason. We'll get it right. Viewers, are you still hearing me clearly? Seem to have frozen for a minute. Okay. So I'm going to read something on the screen. And this is where I wanted to test to see what response I'll get from GECOM. Because information was not forthcoming And so I said, okay, I submitted the People's Movement symbol, which is the top right of your screen. You all want to pay attention to this. Application for allocation of a symbol. So you need a symbol to go on the ballot. This is important. There has to be a symbol that goes on the ballot. Now, it says application is successful, so I put the People's Movement application in. Thank you, Nigel London, for your, I'm reading it because the font is pretty small on your screen, for your application for allocation of a symbol to contest general and regional election has been successfully submitted. Oh, you need to hear this. The date and time recorded for the submission is 2025, June 5th at 11 o'clock. Next steps. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The symbol you have provided will be considered. Listen to the language. The symbol you have provided will be considered by the Elections Commission on the 1st of July. You will receive a formal identification or indication of either the approval of your symbol or two, a request to change your symbol if not approved. You are not required to take any further action at this point. Let me bring Brother Jenny back on screen. So what does that tell us? That if you have to print paraphernalia like hats and t-shirts and flags and so on, you obviously have to have the approval of GECOM for the symbol to be used. The PNC already have a symbol. PVP already has a symbol. So again, you see a strategy where the two will cripple you. Over to you, as they would say. Let's speak. Welcome, brother.
It seems if there was a technical fault. Anyway, shalom, salam, namaste to all our viewers, wherever you may be. You need to take note that there are thousands, if not half a million people who look at our show one way or the other. So take it seriously what we're saying. You know, brother, I have always campaigned for the dissolution of this GECOM, which is a political creature used by the PPP and the PNC when they're in office. We need to dismantle that system, and the only way to dismantle it is to change the constitution, that part of the constitution that brought this creature into being. Well, we need to set up, because in this program we don't only criticize, but we also have solutions to
Correct.
problems. So we will tell you and we will discuss it here, and you're free to comment. We need to dismantle this political creature called GECOM, where the president, through the constitution, has to consult with the leader of the opposition, and then finally, if the opposition leader agrees or don't agree, they have a process where they go through, and then the president appoints the the chairperson. So what is happening here is the you would recall that there was a controversy when Mr. Granger appointed Mr. I can't remember his name as commissioner, and then the matter went through the court, and then eventually went to the
Patterson,
Caribbean Court of Appeal, and
Patterson, yeah.
they made Patterson. They made a ruling. They made a ruling, and obviously Granger had to abide with that ruling, and he was removed. So you have total control. The party in office has total control of the way in which GECOM, because if you, as you've explained, brother, you have three commissioners from the PNC and three commissioners from the PPP. I don't call them PPPC and PNC reform.
No.
I don't refer to them as that. They try to use cover. They use cover to give themselves a new name to fool people. But that's what they are. They they control. They have total control of the political process. And let me say this before we go ahead. Both political parties are in a major crisis, and they both know that they have no chance of winning the election, even become a minority government.
Hmm.
Because if we will look around the country, and I have been around, the masses of people want nothing to do with the PNC and the PPP. And don't be surprised, because a lot of these rats are jumping ship. They're going on both sides. But the PNC is sinking more because they're losing some of the worst rats that they have accumulated over the last 5 years. And that's a good thing, because when the ship sinks, all the rats will drown. All the rats are drowned. That is what is happening. If you look at it carefully, and we don't have to name names because
Right.
those people are insignificant. If you look at if you can call any one of them that jumped ship from the PNC and went to PPP, you will see they have no following. They have
No.
no
None.
interest. They have no interest group. You and I represent the farmers of this country, and you represent a faith group that is effective, efficient, and people who are honorable. And we represent, we are also farmers. So we represent interest group. We don't represent ourselves. And what they need to understand is that we have to consult with people. We have
Exactly.
to we have to consult with people, and we just don't make decisions on our own. We have reached a stage in this country, and we have to identify it. We have reached a stage where we have a dictatorship. We have a dictatorship, and the dictator is Mr. Jagdeo. And let us put it on the table. So when we speak
Absolutely.
about Mr. Jagdeo, we don't call him no vice president. In fact, he's not a vice president. We
No.
call him the dictator. And remember, Walter Rodney used to make jokes of Barnum. He used to say, "People's power, no dictator." We should
I remember
resurrect.
that.
We should resurrect that slogan: "People's power, no dictator." And
No
you see,
dictator.
it is happening because if you look at the Azruddin Mohammed's movement that has emerged over the last couple of months and has intensified, you will see the masses of people that have come out to welcome him. And you know I was there at a lot of these public, and I've spoken at these meetings.
Yes.
And so what I am saying to you is that we need to intensify the struggle against this dictatorship. And in many ways, it is the worst dictatorship we've ever had. Because in many ways, Burnham had achieved a million times more than this dictatorship has achieved. A million times more. And if you want to go through, maybe time doesn't allow us to do that today. But somebody was talking about the bridge, the Burnham Bridge, which was built. One single example, the Demerara Bridge, which links
Yeah.
Georgetown to the west coast of Demerara, which is over 40 years. And
Yes.
these criminals took over 40 years. And had it not been for the Chinese government, we would not have a bridge. That's the reality. So
It is.
we, I think you know more about that situation because your father was involved in the construction or know about the construction of that bridge. So you should talk a little bit about that because you see what is happening is that people get elected to power and they think that they control the country. There's no democracy. Winning an election is not democracy. It's a right of people to vote whoever they want. But
No, it's not.
whoever they elect to power, they need to be accountable to the people. And we don't have any accountability because even the structures that Mr. Burnham set up, it doesn't function. Doesn't function. None of these
No.
NDCs or
So,
neighborhood. You have a lot of, I don't want to use the word dunces because Jagdev has used that word. We don't want to abuse people. But the situation we have at this moment is that a lot of people calling me, brother, disrupting me. I have to take off this WhatsApp. Um, I
yeah.
mean, if they're seeing me on the show, I don't understand why they're calling me. I am the show. I can't talk to them.
They just want to reach you. But look,
uh,
General, let me present um to the viewers what we're dealing with. And there's a lag for some reason this morning on my end too. So I want to put an image here to show. Look at how dangerous these people are. So it's on the screen. From Ghana Elections Commission, there's a timeline. The 3rd of June to the 23rd of June, submission of symbols. During this period, parties contesting elections must submit a symbol which will be used on the relevant ballots once lists are approved. To the GECOM, to submit a symbol to the elections chief election officer for approval by the commission. So this symbol has to be submitted to them. And remember, I showed the public where we have got to wait until the 1st of July to have a notice of approval or disapproval. Let's focus on that, Jenna, where a party or group contesting election has work to do. Remember, people were projecting election to be held in November. Ali quickly, when he noticed that in my view, there's a separation between PNC and AFC, and there's going to be a little problem in terms of restructuring. I knew they jumped in this drag deal. Oh, rush to call election. Then when they saw the momentum that Azadin Mohammed has taken, but they didn't hear an announcement from him. Even worse, oh, Russian called election again because it puts political groups and movements in a challenging position in their reasoning because the PNC is established, the PP is established. They don't have work to do. They already know what they're about. So if we have got to wait until the 1st of June, Jen, and this is where I want us to
First
zoom in
of
on here.
July.
If you have to wait until the 1st of July, thank you, to have a response. So it could be that the 1st of July to tell you, listen, the symbol can't be used. You have to reapply. So it pushes you in another state. Symbols are needed for electoral processes. Tell us, please, how fair is this? How reasonable is this for this group of people to do this to Guyanese?
Well, it shows the power that these people have got because, as we have explained, none of the commissioners, including Alexander, Vincent Alexander, who is a vocal person, who's very knowledgeable
Very.
on electoral matters. I think we need to have him on this program because the people need to have concrete information about what is happening in GECOM. But it's clearly an attempt, as you quite rightly said, to frustrate the new political movement or party that has come forward, to challenge the established elite political parties. That's basically what it is. Because GECOM's officials are highly paid officials, and that is what they paid to do. So why do they have to wait until the 1st of July to say whether the symbol or the name of the party is is good to go? Why? It takes hours to do that. You look at it, you have a team of people. It shows the level of
Exactly.
incompetence. And I'm going to speak to the chairperson who I know very well today after this program. I'm going to call her. I will write to her and say, what kind of nonsense is this? You're lowering your character as a person who I know growing up as a young man as a decent person. How could you allow this to happen? What is going on? You're not in control of the situation. Something that you look at the person's symbol. Let's go through this for people to understand. What is the procedure? What is the procedure? Somebody sends in their name, their symbol. You have a team of people who looks at it. If there are no other name or symbol of that sort, then you approve it. You have no right to reject it. Well, on what basis you're rejecting? On what basis you're waiting for who to approve it? There has to be, and there's no transparency because we ought to know. When I speak to this guy Gittings, he doesn't have a clue what's going on. He has to consult with some legal guy. He's a deputy CEO.
Yes.
And certainly he's PPP. This other guy, Vishnu, whatever his name is also PPP. So this is the situation we have. So you have an overwhelming majority of people, including the chairperson, who's acting contrary to the rules and even the established rules and regulations of GECOM. So I can't understand. And we need to interview them. We need to go to the station, the thing there, and interview the chairperson. So what's going on here? We need to also mount a picket in front of GECOM to say, listen, you are paid by us to do a job and you're not doing it. What is wrong with you? That's what we need to do. We need to take civil action on these people. And I think you're a master at it because you can even go and stand as a one-man picket as you have done over and over again.